Hi, this is Workaway TV, and today we're chatting to Penny, our Workawayer of the month. My first question, I guess, is what started your journey? What got you traveling, and how did you find out about Workaway?
Well, the first real trip, I guess, that I made, I won an all-inclusive paid trip to the Bahamas through a business that I was in. And so I was there for a week. I really enjoyed it. But at the end of that stay, I realized that that kind of all-inclusive fancy trip wasn't really my thing. So when I got home, I just decided to look into international travel, actually with an organization that I was volunteering with at home. So then I started traveling. I did two volunteer trips. One was to El Salvador and one was to Chile. And those were helping low-income families build homes. So it was a really, really good experience, and it was my initiation, I guess, into the developing world, developing countries, and it really, really, really did something to me, changed my outlook on life and everything. And I started really looking to do some more volunteering, and then I came across an opportunity to travel to Kenya, and that travel to Kenya was my first really big solo trip, and it was really amazing. And I can't get enough of Kenya and international travel, really, to be honest. Yeah, I just love it.
So I was having a read of some of the information you sent me, and you mentioned that you actually took the leap to quit your job to travel full time. Tell me a bit about that. I'm sure it was scary. If there's people thinking of making that leap, what advice would you have for them?
Yeah, that was really scary. That was actually, I made that decision actually after my first trip to Kenya. Actually, it was my third trip. After my third trip, I had taken an 8-month leave of absence from my job to go back to Kenya for the third time. So I was in Kenya for 8 months, and I was volunteering then at a permaculture farm. I started volunteering at a permaculture farm at that time. And while I was there, I became very close with family, with the people there. And I just wanted to do more of that. I just had a really strong feeling of helping and doing something so good in a world that was very different than ours. So when I went back to work, I had surgery, and then as soon as my surgery was over, I asked again if I could have another leave of absence. But my boss said to me, you need to choose. Either you work or you go. So it really didn't take me long to make that decision. I was sad to leave my work, but I was really, really happy to step out and explore something new. And for other people who are thinking about doing something like that, everyone has a different life and different responsibilities. At that time, I didn't really have any responsibilities. All of my debt was paid off. I worked for 3 years up until then to pay off all of my debt. So it wasn't really a really big, hard decision for me to make, because I didn't really have any expenses, any reasons to really big reasons to be here. So I think for other people, you just look at your circumstances, and if you're feeling really strongly about something, it's the hardest thing. Fear is the biggest reason that we don't do things, absolutely, for sure. But I think if you just take that leap of faith and believe that you're doing something that you really, really, truly want to do, I think that it will all work out in the end.
Yeah, that's some great advice. So tell me more about the eco-farming experience you had in Kenya, because I know that one really struck a chord for you. Like what's made it kind of lodge in your heart, so to speak?
So I was introduced actually to the host of this permaculture farm, and it just seemed like it was a fit for me. And I went out, saw what he was doing, met his family, and we just they became family for me. The home that I lived in, it had doors, but so many times, so often the doors were just left wide open, and the cows would walk through, the chickens would come in and lay eggs, the kids would just come and go, and it was just so different than how I live here in Canada, or how we live in Canada. In Kenya, or this particular family, but most of the time in Kenya too, families like all live together in the kind of compound. So in this family, there was 3 brothers, a sister, and their families, and their children. So the children just became like my children. It just felt like that's where I belonged. So it was really easy for me to make that, like for me to really fall in love with that area and those people and that family. And the permaculture farm. So one of my trips when I was in Chile, actually, I was brushing my teeth and I left the water running, and the person next to me reached over and turned off the tap and just more or less said, water is not always going to be here, and it's true. And so it kind of got my thoughts in motion of water conservation and stuff. And so when I started volunteering at that project, that permaculture project, I became even more aware of water and how important water is, because so the home that I lived in didn't have any running water. It had no electricity and outdoor facilities. So I experienced the true life of the way rural African people live, having to carry water, having to carry water in pails on my head. A lot of times then with our permaculture farm, that's how we worked. Everything was manual, no electricity, and we had to dig. We made a fence and put in 90 fence posts to build this fence. We planted a lot of trees. A lot of the trees that we actually got from a prison that was close by, and they had a forestry program. We bought lots of tree seedlings, planted the trees, developed this farm, built swales because we lived right next to Lake Victoria, and built raised beds, hauled manure from the farm where I was staying in wheelbarrows all along. I don't know, I don't even know how far it was, a big enough trek and a hard enough work. So yeah, I really, it's really near and dear to me, that project, those families, that family, and those children. Mom, dad, unfortunately, was sad, but he passed in the last year. And one of my hugest memories, my biggest heartfelt memories, is Baba, or Babu, which is grandpa, and Baba is dad in Swahili. He would sit in the middle of the yard underneath this big, huge tree. And he would sit there and read his newspaper, drink his coffee, and or his tea, and the children would all sit with him. And it was their bonding time. And
amazing that you've made such strong bonds with people as you've traveled. I mean, obviously that's a huge part of the Workaway ethos, and I think you really embody that. You mentioned to me previously that you're friends with Daniel, who has actually been a Workawayer of the Month for us before. So do you find it easy to make friends on the road? How did you meet Daniel? How do you tend to meet people when you're traveling?
So with Daniel, I actually met Daniel on my way to a Workaway project in Tanzania. And it was just really cool because he had told me that he was actually volunteering at this specific spot, and then he had told me that he was actually a Workawayer of the Month, which was kind of cool. At the beginning of my travels, before I found Workaway, I often would couch surf, and I found a lot of my friends through that way. And yeah, I just find that it's really, really important to connect to the people that you stay with or you meet along the way, because you never know when you're going to maybe need a contact in that location. And friendships are important. Friendships are important to me. So
It's some great advice to make sure that you have contacts kind of in place or dotted
Yeah.
around when you're traveling. We do get a lot of inquiries from older women who are wanting to travel alone and kind of make friends along the way, but they're nervous. What advice would you have for them?
For me, travel is like a necessary thing, and just because it just you experience different things outside of your little bubble. And so I always just say, you just have to do it. And I mean, it's a scary thing to start traveling anywhere. So I just say you just have to, just do it. Just step outside of your comfort zone. And because if you don't, you're stuck where you are. I shouldn't say stuck, but you're where you are, and you don't get to experience this wonderment of the world that we live in. Like, it's just amazing to experience the new cultures, the different people, different countries, different lands. So I just tell people to just do it. Just do it. Just do it. And there's nothing to be scared about. I don't know anything else other than to say, just do it. Step out of, just don't be afraid. Be strong.
I was having a look at your blog earlier as well. So you do some personal travel writing. What got you started into that?
So I started writing my blog, I think when I first started traveling to Kenya. When I arrived in Kenya, it was like, wow, this is like, whoa, this is like really scary for me. But as I stayed there a little bit longer, I realized that what the media portrayed really wasn't 100% the way it was. So I started writing my blog just to show people that there's more to these countries than what the media portrays. When you only have that short amount of time and you travel to a place, let's say for instance, Nairobi, Kenya, which is the capital of Kenya, the first thing that you see are massive amounts of people. You see so much poverty, and you see the garbage. That's the first thing that you see. And social media that's what social media portrays. So I just wanted to show people, because I stayed there a long time, I saw so much more than just poverty. I saw human beings. I saw how beautiful the people are. I saw the culture, the different lifestyles, the different ways that they live, their families. And I just wanted to portray that through my website, or through my blog, just to show people that don't believe absolutely everything to 100% of what you see in the media, because it's not always 100% accurate. Yeah.
What a great reason to be writing. So where are you now? You mentioned before that you were currently working on a project.
So I'm back home. I'm back home in Saskatchewan, in Canada, and because I'm not traveling internationally right now, I'm working on a project back home. It's a wetland restoration project. So we decided that we would take on this project of restoring the wetland. The wetland is at the very, very entrance to this little tiny village. We just took on this task to beautify that area and to bring back a healthy ecosystem to the wetland, to bring to create put in some flood control just in case it got to a flooding point, because it is a low-lying area, and just to create a healthy area for the birds, the life within the wetland. We planted hundreds and hundreds of trees. It's really exciting. I loved trees, and we are this year coming up putting in 2,200 feet of walking path. We've got lots of interpretive signage that we're going to be installing. We're starting an Adopt a Tree, Plant a Garden program for the youth in the community, so they can learn a little bit about the importance of trees in the environment, about composting, mulching, gardening, sustainability. And yeah, we're really, really excited about it. It's a really fun project, very, very, very big project, and lots of work.
No, I can imagine. It sounds intense, but like the results will probably be worth it.
Oh yeah.
So when this COVID pandemic is hopefully all over and it's a bit safer to travel, where are you off to next? What are your plans?
Well, I'll definitely go back to Kenya. It will have been 5 years since I was back to Kenya to see my family, and I really don't know after that. There's so many places that I want to see. I just like I want to see the entire world, and I don't know I have enough time left in my life to see everything in the world, but I'm going to do my very best. I just have different ideas of where I want to go. I open up my Workaway and see if I can find something that calls to me and just go. Like there's so many places: Ireland, the UK, Scandinavian countries, Europe, Eastern Europe, Africa, everywhere. I don't know. I really, really don't know, but Kenya for sure.
Kenya, then anywhere else?
Yeah.
I think my last question is, any parting words of wisdom for our Workawayers?
Oh, I think that you just have to just reach out and just go pick different projects that maybe you're not used to being a part of, something that's different, because why go to something and do something that you normally do at home? For me, I just like to do something that I've never done before, something that is calling for me, something that calls to me, something that I feel like I'm doing a better good for. So I just say, yeah, just do it. If you're not a Workawayer yet and you're looking to do Workaway, just sign up, because it will change your life. My life, it has changed my life, and I've seen the most amazing parts of the world, met amazing people learned some really, really different cultures that I would never have learned if I hadn't stepped into the Workaway world. And yeah, it's been really, really amazing. And so I just do it. Just do it. Step aside your fear and just do it.
Excellent advice. It's been absolutely lovely talking to you. Thank you so much. If you're listening at home, this is Workaway TV. Check out our blog for more travel tips and tricks. Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.